Good morning. Here we go. This morning, an hour before open, we have jobless claims. That's what we're looking for to move the market. So, nothing that I say for the next 11 minutes matters because that's the market's going to choose its direction based off that. And we'll go somewhere, we'll start somewhere different this morning. We'll go to the SPY futures. We'll go to the ES main. And I wanted to show this. Here's your October high, the October sell down. And that's the high. We're forming a base off that right now. So that would be my low. You would have to break 68, let's call it 10, for me to get worried at all here. Because it looks to me like that's forming a foundation, a bottom. So it would have to break that to move down. So as long as we're above this, I think the upside is bullish. All right, let's go back to the NASDAQ. Let's go back to my usual. We're within this white trading range right now. So I could see a drop all the way down to 24,650, let's call it, and then back up. But you could stop anywhere along this way down. As long as we don't break 24,352, we should be continuing up. As much as everyone hates it, and I think that's the problem. Everyone is short this market, and so it will not go down when everyone is has protection. It just won't. Markets don't crash when everybody's waiting for it to crash. Here is VIX. The VIX, it looks pretty contained for now. I mean, this still, to me, and we're still bullish here, it still looks like this wants to pop one more time. I think we have a move to 29 or 30 in the VIX still. Maybe we get one more down day so everyone can load puts again sillily. And then I think that does it. Either that or they just crush VIX today. But VIX looks like it wants to go up still. And that's a problem. All right, let's look at oil. Look at this. See, you're hitting I'll even do this. I mean, you could see this clear as day just looking at this. What in the world? Uh, So you're trying to break out of this. Now, this could be 3 attempts and a failure, so you could come back and retest down here at 70, the upper 60s, before breaking out. I mean, you're uber bullish. You're 4 days outside the Bollinger. Usually that's about the limit. Usually you don't spend more than 4 days outside of a Bollinger before coming back in. This is kind of extreme circumstances. Like I think silver did, and probably gold. Yeah, gold had several days outside the Bollingers. So I wouldn't necessarily count on that in oil. These are kind of unique circumstances. But this is, yeah, this very much could drop down upper 60s, lower 70s, get some relief in oil. Or it could break through this and then it would go up into the 80s, 90s. Yeah, that would be bad for the world, good for me. Okay, let's go to the Qs. There we are. We're the same descending channel. Here it looks like 608 would probably hold. And we're above the 5MA now. The 5MA is down at 604. So as long as you're above this and closing above this, then you're bullish. And so I would actually expect us to tag the 5MA. I would expect us to come down and tag it before going up, even if we're bullish, just because that's kind of what the Qs like to do. Well, what everything likes to do, likes to keep touching the 5MA. It never gets too far for too long. And that's just the old saying, everything reverts to the mean. The upper expected move for today is near 620. So it would be challenging these all-time high, or not all-time highs, but these highs back here from the end of February. 618.50, 619.20 is the high we have there. That's right where our projected move for today is. And I could see that. I actually see that. That makes a lot of sense to me. Because that would break you out of this wedge and then come back and retest it. I believe that. All right, let's look at a few stocks. NIO had a nice bounce. Let's see what it does. I mean, this is one of those things. If the market's going to be bullish, it's going to help NIO. Huntsman. Oh, look at that. We got a formation signal. I didn't need that. I was buying Huntsman anyways. Because we like the chart. We like the weekly chart a lot. We're just biding our time. This is going to come up into the 20s. I would say very soon, but we'll see. Same with Iridium. This one wants to be in the 30s badly. I don't know what it's waiting on. It's just biding its time here. Paramount, we had 2 big up days. 3 small down days. We're about mid candle. I would look for this to start reversing again. That daily does not look good for RSI. The hourly isn't even really convincing here. I mean, you've got bullish divergence, but that's not convincing. I mean, this isn't screaming to me, run out and buy. And something on a squeeze should be screaming that. Wendy's continues to thrash around in the quagmire bottom here. Let's look at oil. Let's see if oil is going to give us a sense of direction. OIH looks to go down. It looks like a big move is coming because the Bollingers are pinching when they come together like this. We're below the mid Bollinger. The 50 and the 200 have a large gap between them, and price has a large gap between it and the 50. So, yeah, we could come all the way down 285 for OIH. I mean, oil could get crushed here, drop $10. I don't know why, but it could. Let's look at the other oil. Now, this looks uber bullish. This looks super bullish. Again, this looks more like oil, the XOP, and this is going to be your Chevrons and your Exxon Mobils, the XOPs. That's your big boys. Looks like it's trying to turn up again. Well, let's check and see how the war is going. Indo. Had our A, B, C. So this should hold. This is the breakout. So we're just retesting the breakout. So Indo should pop again. If it does not, yeah, wow, they've really turned that. If it does not, it'll come down into the 340 range again. And that would actually make sense. Because I think this is a 3, 4, and then here's your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to finish your wave. And then you would come back and correct down into this zone. Actually, this whole zone. So it could be anywhere in here. But yeah, we could drop all the way down to 340. And I would definitely be entering there. So oil, yeah, oil could get crushed for whatever reason. But that, again, Chevron looks good. CVX. These XOP names look good. So oil might be a mixed bag. That's interesting. Let's look at uranium. Let's see how U looks. And this, hopefully what we have here is a giant cup and handle. And so far it's holding out. I'd like to turn up and break 2391. So let's call it 24 for UUU. And that would be a good sign that we were moving up. UEC, another one of my favorites. Again, down kind of in this quagmire. We do not have bullish divergence. So, and we're below the 5 MA, we're below the 50. We could look for this to drop again down to 1176, 1175. Again, uranium's not safe right now. It's kind of, and again, I'm not selling this. I'm more of a buyer. DNN looks great. DNN always looks great. Every time I look at this chart, it looks good, no matter where it's at. This looks great. You're above support. You've got the Bollingers pinching. You're above the mid Bollinger. This looks like it wants to squeeze up. And it looks like they're selling it. So this looks like it wants to roll down. So mixed signals in uranium. That's pretty much the market. The market could go either way. And it's 5:30. We had news released and the market did nothing. Absolutely nothing. There's Lightbridge. That looks good to me. Nano looks good. NuScale above support. We have these divergence. Plus, we haven't broken this. That's what really. I'd like to see us get a pop out of this, even if we drop again, but I'd like to see us at least get a pop. Let's look at retail. Gap should still look strong. Just holding above this support. Again, we could just continue to turn sideways for a while. I kind of think that's what the market wants to do. Of course, I don't make trades based off what I think the market's going to do. I make trades off of what's going to make me money. Now, American Eagle lost the support. So it should come down here into the 17 range again, which is fine. I mean, I'm short this once we lost my support. I sold calls on it. So I'm short. Puma, I expect to go up. Again, you have to pay big fees usually to buy this. So not necessarily something I would recommend. ANF, it's above support right here at 92. So it's basically holding this 200. If it loses it, though, it can come all the way down to the upper 60s. Under Armour, I would expect to hold somewhere at the low 6s. All the new tech seems to be dropping. That's interesting. Except for AMPX. That thing's a beast. Look at that breaking out. think I lifted my shorts off this. I'd better double check when I'm done. But yeah. And again, when I'm short, that's just me selling calls. I have lots of stock, so I sell calls. I'm always selling calls. That's how I make money to buy more stock. And then I just accumulate. Build. And this off that rejection is finding a bottom. Again, you were just outside the Bollingers for 3-4 days. So coming back up, that would make total sense. AAOI, this should be flirting with 100. Yeah, I would expect a drop. Nothing major, just down to 69. I mean, it had a huge run. So you've got to correct this run. And again, you could just chop sideways for a couple days, but you've got to get these moving averages closer together. Moving averages never stay far apart for very long. See how price is away from the moving average and the moving average is away from the moving average? Those all come back together eventually. That's how stocks work. They spread away from the moving averages and then they come back together, just like breathing or a wave. The wave goes up and then it crashes. That's all stocks are. And here's the annoying one, because I don't like how this bottomed, but it's in this buy zone, and this is just ugly. This to me looks like the Bitcoin false bottom. So I don't trust this at all right now. It is above my buy zone, but I don't like the way that it hit the buy zone. Triple D actually looks pretty good. Again, if the market's going to cooperate, this can start ripping. We can start see some squeezing out of this if the market cooperates. Let's see, is there anything else in here that I need to talk about? BBAI. Again, I think this should drop again down to 350. Ionic. I don't know what to make of Ionic. Looks like it should drop down to 35. It's in that quantum, so it's hard to tell with that. Iron above support had this big drop. I mean, that's good bullish divergence. Big upswing. So iron above 41 basically looks pretty good. All right, let's go back to the cues and finish it up. Because today is just, I mean, the news came out, it didn't do anything. So it looks like we'll probably just drift, like I thought, down to 604, maybe 605. Maybe we don't touch if we don't touch the 5MA and we just get to 605 and not 604 and then reverse up, that would be really bullish. Again, if I kind of expect us to touch the 5MA and then bounce up. I expect us to touch this 618 range. Again, if we break the 5MA, especially on a lazy day, how it's just kind of drifting, if it breaks that 5MA and goes down, that would be very bad. The way that it's moving today, you would expect it to, and here we'll go to the 5 minutes so we can see a little better. See how it's just drifting? This is a head, shoulder, shoulder. And so you're just going to drift down into this zone, which look at that, 604.50. So that's 604 is your 5 MA, 5-day moving average. So yeah, I totally think you're just going to drift down to 604 and then reverse up and test that 618, 619 range. That's just what I think for today. Again, if you break 604, 603, this trend line, then you would have more downside. Then I would be looking for 600. If 600 breaks, then yeah, that would be really bad. How the market is, 600 should hold. Well, actually 604 should hold. So if we break 604, then I would expect us to keep dropping down to 600. And that, when I say break 604, I mean convincingly. Like you have to break it and set up a candle, a 5-minute candle on it, and then drop again. All right. Actually, let's see what VIX did. Did that do anything to the VIX? It's just lifting it a little. See, VIX is it's pretty contained here. Yeah, you're under resistance right now. As long as it stays in this range, you're fine. If it gets above 22, then the market could have problems. Okay. Be safe, be wise, be bold, and as always, good luck.